You're listening to Radio Aula Mundi.
Hi there, wherever you are. I'm Marco Rixecker, a freelance writer, reporter, producer, teacher, translator, tour guide, poet, singer, and songwriter. I speak several languages, and I'm the creator and founder of Radio Aula Mundi, an evolving podcast station where no language and all languages are spoken. It's a multilingual mix of music, poetry, lectures, languages, interviews, documentaries, recipes, and a lot more, co-produced with the students of the Aula Mundi International Cultural Center. You can find us on radioaulamundi.bandcamp.com, podcasts.apple.com, Spotify, YouTube, Breaker, Player FM, Facebook. Search Radio Aula Mundi. The following narrative includes excerpts from a collection of testimonies and interviews entitled Let's Talk About It Anywhere in the World, where it is all about people's voices, accents, and speech patterns, hand in hand with my own personal anecdotes and observations. In addition to that, people are free to introduce themselves and speak their minds openly in their respective, often indigenous, languages and dialects, without any paraphrases or expectations. So, let the story go on from there. Andrea Martinez is the recent owner of a coffee shop in a small town seemingly lost in the middle of nowhere, Schurz, Nevada, on the Walker River Indian Reservation. She is an enrolled member of the Paiute Nation, and Andrea's hometown is located just south of Highway 50 near Fallon, Nevada, about 40 miles south of Reno. She calls her establishment Next Evolution and tries to make sure that everything on her menu is as fresh, indigenous, organic, and homemade as possible. Andrea Martinez's story is all about success. She has been able to reconcile her life as a mother of 4 children and as a housewife with entrepreneurship. And through her coffee shop, she has managed to put the ancestral traditions and culture of the Paiute Nation on the map. She considers the whole experience and endeavor a form of healing. So, our conversation is going to focus a lot on the kinds of healing experiences people could find on her menu. The dishes and drinks she offers might not be indigenous at first glance, but many of the indigenous and an up to spiritual way of getting them and preparing them are. So Andrea and I connect from different places in the world at 3 p.m. Nevada time, shortly after her coffee shop has closed. We're open from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m., she informs me. Food is deeply rooted in Andrea Martinez's cultural background. I'm coming from the Trout clan, she's going to tell me early during our online conversation. And there's a sad story attached to it. Trout can no longer be found in the waters of the Paiute Reservation due to pollution coming from the nearby Air Force and Navy bases in Fallon, Nevada, a small town on Highway 50, which is where the blockbuster movie Top Gun was shot.
My name is Andrea Martinez. I am from Schurz, Nevada. I own Next Evolution Coffee Shop located on the Walker River Paiute Indian Reservation, and the time is approximately 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific time.
Where are you in the world?
Where am I in the world? So we are a rural reservation located in the middle of Vegas and Reno. So we're closer to Reno, but we're on Highway 95, right off the highway, so you can't miss us. I don't really know how else to explain it. I mean, we're the only coffee shop on the Schurz reservation for miles.
What is your cultural heritage?
So I am Paiute from the Walker River Paiute tribe. We call ourselves the Agaida, which means the trout eater people.
How much of that would we find on your menu?
Oh, so our waters got really contaminated from the naval base and the army base, which we are located right between the Fallon. Fallon is 45 minutes north of us, and they have a Navy base. And then Hawthorne is about 30 miles south of us, and they have an army base. So what had happened was the army started blowing up their bombs in our lake to get rid of the bombs before they knew about like how it can contaminate our lake and hurt our food system. And so our lake is contaminated right now, and due to the farming in Washington, a lot of our water is held up from the farms over there. So there's low water levels coming down to create fresh water for the trout to live. And trout are basically non-existent in our waters right now. So we are called the Agaida because that was our food system, but now we don't have the trout here anymore. But another big staple in our community is the pine nuts. And every year for 91 years, we have hosted the Pine Nut Festival. It's a powwow gathering that we have here on our reservation that blesses the pine nuts, and we hope for a good harvest the next year. So that is something we still continue to practice in our culture. And so we did have a lot of pine nuts to harvest on Mount Grant and in the Army Depot area, but now due to the lack of water, we rarely get the pine nuts in our homelands anymore. But I do like to incorporate pine nuts into our menu, like my zucchini muffins, my vegan zucchini muffins that created here in our shop. We have that. We also like to travel to this month. We traveled to the Umatilla Indian Reservation, and we were able to harvest huckleberries. And with that, I don't know if you checked up our website or our Facebook page, but we did do huckleberry jam on our toast. We did huckleberry oatmeal. We did huckleberry smoothies. This week we did huckleberry muffins. And so we do like to incorporate the indigenous plants into our shop. Also, when the pandemic hit, we also gave out like wellness bags to our people, which had cedar and sage and Indian tea. So we actually incorporated our medicinal staples into the healing remedies during the pandemic.
How far would you travel to get the freshest native ingredients?
So with our menu, we travel 200 miles to Reno and then 200 miles back every week so that we can have the fresh food items available in our shop for our people. We utilize Costco a lot. They have like the most organic stuff that we can get in bulk that tastes the best and stays fresh.
What makes you special?
Oh my gosh. So, for one, what I like about coffee shops is coffee culture can be anything you want it to be. So that's why I decided to be a coffee shop, because people are familiar with coffee shops, and when you go into like a small town coffee shop, it's like you don't know what to expect, and it could be anything it wants to be. So that's why I wanted to base my business on a coffee shop, but also I wanted to kind of slowly introduce our community into the healthy type of foods, smoothies, salads, sandwiches, and juices that we have available. So it was kind of like a marketing technique and a business idea that I had to put into place for people to experience what we really are. because people are super surprised about all the variety we have to offer here, especially being in such a rural area. And what makes us different as well, being Native American, a lot of Native Americans are intolerant to dairy. So I try to introduce that into our coffee culture in our shop. So we have a lot of plant-based milks. We have almond, soy, coconut, oat, and then we have half and half to complement any coffee drinks, but in a small amount. But it's like we don't usually carry regular milk here. One, because it goes bad pretty fast. Two, it's not good for our digestive systems. And three, it's making a new path for our future generations.
To which degree would you say your coffee shop could also be sort of a community center?
80%. I've kind of did the data on it recently because that's a question that I've had to think about a lot. It's the regulars, and then like mostly our tribal employees, because we're basically open during the time people usually work, 7 to 3. So unfortunately, the people who live off of our reservation don't really benefit from it because we're closed before people go to work and like after they go to work.
So what is your story?
Oh, my story. So my story, the coffee shop was created based on my own healing journey as a Native American woman. And a lot of our history and our culture, you know, we faced the biggest assimilation in the world. We were meant to be wiped out of this country. And I didn't really understand our history until I started taking my own healing into consideration. So I thought, you know, okay, I need to be healthy. So I started working out. And then I was like, okay, this is connected to diet. So I started dieting and working out. But then after I got to a certain point where I thought I looked healthy, internally I didn't feel healthy and I didn't feel good. So I started examining myself internally. And then that led me into psychology, meditation, yoga, dealing with trauma. And then a big topic in Indian country is historical trauma and generational trauma. And so I started studying that and I realized, you know what, this is something every Native American faces, whether they know it or not. And so I'm like, okay, how can I help my people? How can I help them in a way to help them heal? And so ultimately I realized it starts with exercise and then it starts with eating healthy. But then our people, being a reservation, we're on a food desert. We don't have that food accessible to us. And we were never taught how to eat healthy. We were always given commodities and the high fat stuff. We were given the food that was really bad for us. And we never took it upon ourselves to educate ourselves, like what's really going on. So it's like I had all these things like, well, how can I start helping to heal my people? And I'm like, you know what, if I had a place to where I can serve people the food that I feel would benefit them, that they would start to question, okay, what's good for me? How can I heal? This made me feel better. And then just recently today, a lady came in and said she's lost 41 pounds. And it's not all due to us, but she said being a support for her in this community, she's been able to lean on us, not only for food, but for educational purposes of like how this food it reacts to our bodies. And so it's just like I had to find a way to connect with my people in a sense that's not going to intimidate them.
During my conversation with Andrea Martinez, I also tie in an experience of the very day of our online talk.
So I'm just coming back from a run. I'm parched and I'm starving. So what do you recommend?
Okay, so we actually have a long distance runner that always comes here after his long distance bike rides or runs. And I'm also a long distance runner. I even have the Next Evolution Marathon that we did here. That's why I created the pineapple mango hydrate. Okay, one, because it has a hydrate mix in it that is equal to 10 ounces of extra water in your system coming from coconut powder. And it also has 72 trace minerals of aquamin, which is great for your body because it's from the ocean. Third, the sugar that you lose during a run, it replenishes the sugar in your body. And then the pineapple and the mango are good carbohydrates to restore the carbohydrates you've lost as well. And then for if you're hungry, we would also incorporate a power ball. So our power balls are really filling. They're slow digesting. They have oats, banana, chia seed, peanut butter, and a little bit of salt and vanilla. And it's a raw snack that will keep you full, and then your hydrate would hydrate you.
Which mealtime do you like the most?
Oh man, I like to carb up before a long run. But my favorite is breakfast during the week. I do a fresh pressed juice. And then since we're so busy and we're constantly going, I have a large fresh pressed juice in the morning. And then I have a smoothie for midday. And then I have another juice. And in the midday, within the juice, I have the Powerball as well, and with just lots of water. And that's my favorite meal during the week for myself. And then I have dinner with my family.
What's for dinner tonight?
What's for dinner tonight? Oh, for my kids, it's spaghetti. But like last night, we had 2 whole grain toasts with avocado, tomato, Gouda cheese, and 3 slices of chicken breast.
It doesn't happen very often, but the day of my online conversation with Andrea Martinez, I feel like playing the beginning of a song of mine entitled Motel Blues to her, with the idea to talk about breakfast in general, breakfast items, breakfast options, breakfast menus, and so on.
I'm going to give this a shot. Woke up this morning, got the motel blues. Woke up this morning, got the motel blues. If you don't believe me, you should be standing in my shoes. Okay, so far, what kind of indigenous breakfast would you recommend for the motel blues?
The bagel sandwich. It's a bagel with tomato, avocado, cheese, and oregano.
What is your favorite breakfast like?
My favorite breakfast. So I like oatmeal with berries, peanut butter, honey, and granola.
So what time would you have breakfast?
Yeah. Okay. So I have breakfast like at 10 because it's just go, 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 go. Like when I wake up at 5, it's go, 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 go until like 10. And then I finally have my breakfast. But like I said, I live off of the juices and the smoothies and the water. But as for our community, when it's their break time, mid-morning. So like I said, a lot of them order the oatmeal, the bagels, the breakfast sandwich, the muffins in the morning. And then like mid-snack, they order a lot of people order our Bobby special. So that was the sourdough cheese, avocado, and jalapeno. And then it's cut in half with everything seasoning on it.
There are many indigenous food items which could not make it to Andrea Martinez's menu. And we have spoken about it earlier during our conversation. But I go back to that topic, asking her about food items she would love to have on her menu.
So a lot of our traditional foods, we were like root diggers. So we ate a lot of root. We had the pine nuts, we had the deer meat, we had the trout. Again, our trout are not in our waters anymore. I do put the pine nuts in, but those are seasonal. I would love to carry like deer meat in here, but again, that's almost seasonal as well. And there's not really a way for us to prepare something like that in here. So that's why I kind of stuck to like the fresh, almost raw type of foods here.
So, to Andrea Martinez, indigenous food is also about healing, which is why, at the end of our conversation, I give her a poem to read that is meant to reflect her cultural background as an indigenous Paiute woman and illustrate our conversation. So, she does a reading performance of that poem before we talk a little bit about its significance, both for Andrea and her nation. And then, it is time to wrap it all up with a pledge to continue the conversation anytime, anywhere in the world, including in Schurz, Nevada, sitting and chatting with Andrea Martinez in her coffee shop. And the story goes on from there.
My name is Andrea Martinez. I am the owner of Next Evolution Coffee Shop. I'm going to read a poem, Ghost Dance, by Sarah Little Crow. Wovoka is a descendant of members in our tribe, and he is also buried here on our indigenous lands on the Walker River Paiute Reservation in Schurz, Nevada. A poet of Ojibwe and Han-Noxie Metis heritage. 270 ghost dancers died dreaming that humanity would drown in a flood of white sins. Then renewed, Earth would reclaim city and town, leaving only ghost dancers and those who lived by nature's laws. History books say that the threat is gone. The ghost dance died with the ancestors. Wovoka and his sacred dream were destroyed. Each time it rains, I go out to the sidewalk where the tree roots have broken, the concrete listening to the waters whispering, it's coming soon.
There's actually a healing message in this poem. What do you think about that?
No, I agree. I agree a lot. I do know the descendants of Wovoka here in Schurz. There's a couple of them that live here, and there is just a lot of controversy about Wovoka. But I do believe that again in this poem it mentions the ones who are going to live are the ones by nature's law, and I completely agree with that because I believe that nature is the only being that lives in balance. And I think that humans could learn a lot from nature, and it's even in our culture to live by nature, and that nature is a teacher to us. And so like this poem is beautiful, and I connect with it and I resonate with it.
What else should we know?
Oh my gosh. I am really into, I just want people to heal, and I want people to love each other, and I want us to take care of one another. And I am so tired of fighting, and it's just more prominent today than ever. And the division of people just seems to be everywhere. So I just really want to focus on bringing people together and realize that it's okay to have different perspectives, and it's okay to respect one another. And I just think that if we practice more empathy to one another, like we would definitely live in a better place. And I know I can't make people do that, but I could definitely live as an example.